Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody, to this first European Symposium on Aporophobia, which will take place today and tomorrow, on the 24th and 25th September. And we would like to welcome all the attendants and also all persons following the symposium online in different countries, where I would like to say they can access the symposium in English and Spanish. These conferences are going to include different panels, and we are going to introduce you to the different representatives of EAPN in the region and in Spain. And I think we can also tell you we're going to have a talk with Adela Cortina and the Suter, who are today with us. We are going to develop our symposium with dialogues, face-to-face, and with some questions, so that you can speak and you can give your solutions, your opinions, and discuss everything here at the hemicycle of the University of Murcia, so that we can dialogue. We can have dialogues here at the university, and we are at a campus at the public place where we develop life in our city, Murcia. We will speak about aporophobia, and we are going to give you a semantic and active puzzle, so that you can give your opinions. And Jose Maria Macarro told us it is really difficult to use this word, aporophobia, in our daily vocabulary. And well, the word is there, so we are going to use it, and we are going to study its origins and understand the language, and also be conscious at the symposium that name it is also take action. So we are going to start to dialogue and also to take action. Welcome, everybody. And the authorities are going to start. And I would like to address those who are following the symposium on the channel of Murcia. If you wish, you can share your opinions with the hashtag Actívate contra la pobreza on the social media. So if you are activated, thank you for being here. And let's start with different testimonies and the opening, which is a collective opening. Please, an applause for Rosa Cano, President of EAPN in the region of Murcia, which is the headquarters. And she studied education, and she's also the director of an association, Columbares, also the president of EAPM in the region of Murcia, and forming part of the executive committee of region of Murcia. So the curriculum is also a resume, but they don't usually include the attitudes and the I didn't know about my CV. I didn't know you had my CV. Thank you, Lucía, for your nice words. And also for your words for our collectives working for the social affairs in the region of Murcia. Welcome everybody to this first symposium, European Symposium on Aporophobia. I would like to thank the University of Murcia for welcoming us at the hemicycle of the university and also the anti-poverty network in Spain, then at a national level, because they chose us to celebrate the symposium in Murcia. And I would like to thank the Ministry of Social Affairs and Consumerism and the Agenda 2030 because they are financing the Congress. And I would also thank all of you who are here in person and also the online participants for today and tomorrow. And also I would like to thank all persons belonging to EAPN in Murcia and Spain, making possible for this Congress to be celebrated here. I would also like to thank Adela Cortina and Olivier Schutter, sorry for my pronunciation, who is the relator, special relator of the UN on extreme poverty and human rights, and for his collaboration against poverty, and also Adela Cortina for creating and naming Aporophobia, and also Olivier for making awareness, raising awareness. And for Murcia, it is a privilege to celebrate here such a symposium. It is a symposium at a European level, organized by EAPN Spain in collaboration with the Murcia Network, and the aim is to speak of aporophobia, but from an intersectional point of view. It is also a good occasion for us to update our look at our situation in the region, and we can share it with all the points of view of all persons participating from our region and also outside the region of Murcia. And our aim is to analyze specifically aporophobia, to promote the development of the tools and to eradicate aporophobia and poverty. The attacks to the most vulnerable persons in our society are an attack to the whole of the society. That's why it is very important to give a name to hate and rejection, but also detect which are the best ways to fight against it. I'm sure we are going to go out of this symposium knowing better what is aporophobia and the reality that we are denouncing. And also that after these 2 days, we are going to know better the reality of poverty in our region, in Spain and in Europe. We are at a moment where words are more important than numbers. And in spite of that, when we speak of poverty from our network, we always speak of data and percentages. More than 32% of persons in the region of Murcia are in the risk of poverty. So in absolute terms, 500,000 of persons. This symposium is dedicated most of all to words, more than numbers. So I'm going to talk about words. Why it is very important to name things. We usually say that what is not named does not exist. So the power of names and of knowing the name of those things we would like to eradicate is something that we share in all cultural traditions throughout history. Once we know the precise name of something, we can accept it and we can deal with it and work with this reality. For the network, the precise words are very important. It's very important because these matters are ignored by many, and we use words such as poverty and social exclusion because we deal with complex situations with a lack of participation and lack of fundamental rights. We prefer to speak of persons in situation of poverty instead of speaking of poor people, because we know that you can go out of poverty, and this is not a quality of persons. And we should be aware of our language and use an inclusive language. And we don't want to leave people behind. We are not going to speak with names such as MENA, for instance, because they are not naming persons. We are speaking of people. And persons in situation of poverty have been regarded as persons who are not as important as the rest. And we knew we had this problem. We lacked the word, the precise word, so that we don't miss this reality when we speak of this problem. Now, thank Adela Cortina, we have the word. We know how to name it and denounce it. At the beginning of my intervention, I was saying that this symposium should be able to update our look at our region and what happened in Torre Pacheco, which was a racist incident. And this has to do with aporophobia too, and racism. And we can say there is a hatred against our neighbors. So having the precise words is very useful to name, but also to act. And it's not useful to make a debate or a panel debate on these words if we don't decide how to end with this problem. I think in this symposium we will have time to take advantage of the conferences and in the same way showing what Islamophobia is and racism is not a good thing if we don't find a solution for it. I should have introduced you to my colleagues. The vice-rector of social responsibility and culture in the University of Murcia, Longinos Marín, Pilar Torres, councillor of social welfare, family and health in the Town Council of Murcia. Also, Patricia Bezunartea, General Director of Family Diversity and Social Services in the Ministry of Social Rights. Carlos Susías, President of EAPN in Europe. Concepción Ruiz, Councillor of Social Policies, Families and Equality in the government of the Region of Murcia. Thank you for working and fighting against poverty and working for this sector, and take action as soon as possible with a strategy against this problem. Thank you.
Vamos a alterar un poco el orden porque la directora general del Ministerio de Trabajo Social tiene...
We're going to go on because the director of social welfare has to leave, and we are going to start with Patricia Bezunartea, General Director of Family Diversity and Social Services in the Ministry of Social Rights, Consumerism and 2030 Agenda. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Region of Murcia.
Participar por sus palabras y la escuchamos atentamente.
Thank you for your words, and we are going to listen to you.
Hello, good afternoon to everyone. I hope you can listen to me. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you to EAPN both EAPN in Murcia and Spain. Thank you also to the University of Murcia, and a very warm greeting to all the people that are taking part, representing the University of Murcia, and also the representatives of the local and regional government. I would like to congratulate the organization for the topic they chose. I think it's a very relevant topic. It's one of the big challenges of our social policy. I think it's not enough to make an effort. Sometimes we make important efforts to support people, to make programs that allow for social and work insertion, social educative programs, but we have an obligation to make structural changes that make an obstacle to the progress of those people. And aporophobia, that is rejection to people in a situation of poverty, is one of those things, one of the most significant obstacles. Historically, we've devoted many efforts to approach inclusion, but I think we need to include the fight against aporophobia, against discrimination of people in poverty and social exclusion in a way that, in a new way, because I think no policy should be implemented without this approach. Because, as I said, we can make many efforts to support people, but if we forget that there is a reality, which is a discriminatory take from the society towards those people, then I think we will be ignoring a very important part of the problem and what we need to do, both from the public institutions and the third sector. I think the data give us a situation, a very relevant situation, a look that should sound the alarm. We have data from the Home Ministry of Home Affairs that show an increase of more of a third in aporophobia crimes in 2024. That means that we have a greater rate of these kind of situations, but that also means that perhaps we are much more able to notice this. But in any case, I think these data should make us think about doing something. This goes together with a very low rate of, claims being filed after these crimes. And I think this talks about the little resources that people suffering aporophobia have to denounce these situations. Therefore, we have a context where it is difficult to eradicate this situation, but I think we have the obligation of raising awareness, increasing the awareness about how this discrimination hampers sometimes the process of inclusion of many people. Now, the data of the Observatory of the Agassi Foundation tell us that when we talk about extreme exclusion, we feel that a third of the people who suffer from homelessness suffer from crimes and hate crimes, and 87% of them do not denounce. This refers to insults, aggressions, theft of their properties, and physical violence. These should make us think. And then now I would like to make some reflections about this reality that we meet every day, and you, the people who work in the field, meet. And the first thought that I have about this has to do with the world that we are building. This hegemony of neoliberal ideology that speaks about individuality, meritocracy, competition. Yesterday I read in the papers that Spain is one of the countries of the OECD where the importance where you are born is one of the greatest of the whole region. The conditioning of where you're born represents this privilege represents 35% in Spain, in contrast or in comparison with the 25% of the rest of the countries. Now, this increasingly competitive world means that people in situation of poverty do not matter. The people who suffer a situation of a rejection because of their socioeconomic situation means tell us that the insults they receive is that they are often told that they're worthless because they do not bring anything to the society. And this is something I think our intervention should be guided towards human rights, because everybody have the same should enjoy the same kind of respect from all members of society, regardless of their situation. And this world view, this competitive world view, ignores the structural causes of poverty, which are the most difficult to fight against, and blames the people who suffer from it, and dehumanizes those people. And this dehumanization is at the basis of aporophobia. People who talk about this kind of offenses say, I am a person like my perpetrators. I am a person, and as a person, I have a right to be treated respectfully, with dignity. Also, these situations of aporophobia, we have like very negative consequences to people, because the rights are being violated. And this pushes people to a very negative self-image, to a situation of stigmatization and trauma. And therefore, people do not denounce to the police their situation. And this, of course, brings the gender situation into mind, because the gender plays a role. Yes, because the gender violence and sexual violence increases the suffering, and is also one of the rights that is violated in these people. Now, when we cosified people through this hate speech or these aggressions or these apophobic situations, make our society worse, make our society more classist, and make us lose our values. Another important data is the passivity of the people who observe these situations. A high percentage of people witnessing these situations do not act, and this means that this is a terrible situation we cannot normalize. We need to fight against this. And another consequence is the non-visibilization of these situations. We don't want to see it, or we make the situations invisible. And that means that the perpetrators are emboldened. And now I think I would like to speak about the importance of media and reporting these situations, using the correct language, making visible these kind of situations, and putting human rights at the front. And also, Rosa also talked about this, aporophobia interacts with other forms of discrimination. We could speak about sexism, homophobia, phobia against the Roma population. And so there are populations that suffer different kind of discrimination at the same time. And that means these people suffer from a greater difficulty to enjoy a life where their rights are respected. And another thing that I would like to share is that from the institutions, there's a lot of work we can do. When we go to the people who suffer from aporophobia, when in our public centers, due to their organization, due to the fact that the centers are not well planned, they prevent people from enjoying the rights, then we're not promoting a fight against aporophobia. So I think we should also look into the institutional kind of discrimination that we need to fight, because this is often not easy to see, and this is part of the work that we have in front of us. I think this solution should be structural and institutional. We need to incorporate the gender perspective and the intersectional perspective. We need to strengthen the legislation also so that aporophobia is not possible, and if it happens, then it's punished. And then also to raise awareness. We need to provide information for the victims so that they know their rights, and also we need to give support in the different processes so that they can report the offenses that they've suffered. We need also to train the professionals, to design protocols, to look at the situations structurally, and we need to raise awareness socially when issues like this take place. I would like also to reiterate the Ministry of Equality and 2030, the Agenda 2030, the university, and how the people working in the public institutions, but also in the third sector, I would like to recognize how you all work. I know that this is a very complex topic, and we need to make complex solutions possible, and we need to cooperate. We have a lot of challenges ahead, and we have very challenging and dangerous trends in our society. I think we need to fight and actively defend human rights, and we will always do that from this ministry.
Muchas gracias, Patricia, por
Thank you very
sus
much
palabras.
for your words, Patricia. And now we are going to move on with the rest of participants. And I invite you to follow the panel debates today and tomorrow. We changed a little bit the order of the dialogues. And, well, we started with a little bit of delay. And, well, Longinos Marín, representative of the University of Murcia, vice-rector of Social Responsibility and Culture in the University of Murcia. Go on, please, and an applause. And he studied economy and administrative sciences. Well, if we finish too late, then we can ask for a euro, and then we apologize. Well, thank you very much for celebrating this symposium here with all the authorities, and thank you to Patricia Bezunartea and also Conchita Ruiz, of course, our regional minister of social politics, families and equality, and also friends from EAPN, from our network, who are always collaborating with us at the university. Thank you for allowing us to participate in the symposium. Also, congratulations for dealing with this matter, with this subject here and this topic. And we'll have some presenters for today and tomorrow. who are very, very important presenters. And I would also like to mention, of course, Adela Cortina, who created this word, aporophobia. The topic is very is in the present day a very important one, and we had a meeting with one of the publications, very important publications, and they told us investigating is okay, but research has to be combined with a social pact so that we can eradicate poverty. And he told us at the university that our scientists at the university should help to solve this problem of inequality, because these events such as the pandemic, the climate change, etc., in the last few years, they make the inequality among countries even bigger. So we have to act against inequality and act from the university. So we are thinking about what we are doing at the university and what we should do. I recovered the document written by Adela Cortina last year at the opening of the university year, and she said, well, the conclusion was we have a lot to do from the university, but well, just as a summary, first in education, in the classrooms, we are helping professionals to work in different ways, but also every student at the University of Murcia in all subjects know that sustainable development is important in medicine, in law, in different studies at the university. So we try to raise awareness on poverty and raising awareness towards poverty. There was a program called Obsesiones, and we have been working with the help of the regional government, and we think this program can make students be aware of the problem and be conscious of the problem. And on the second place, as the professor said, we try to have scientist production in an observatory of social exclusion, and we publish studies on the topic, so that we try to create new policies, public policies on the topic. And the most important thing, we should try to make the university a lift or a social elevator for persons. And we are a public university, we have to do this. And we have grants, a program of grants, which is working, but we have to improve it. And well, it's working in Spain as well. And at the university, we have another program of grants. And also there is a social office, so that those who are outside the system or have a problem, there are social workers who can help them with their social problems, so that no student at the University of Murcia should leave their studies at university due to social trouble or personal circumstances. And at the university, with EAPN and the rest of institutions of the third sector, we try to collaborate and help them. Well, we always think we can do more, and we always have the possibility to do more. Thank you. Thank you, Longinos. And we are going to move on. He was talking of the institutions, the organization, the local and regional ones. And Torres, the councillor of social welfare, family and health in the City Council of Murcia. Good afternoon, everybody. And I would like to say hello to all authorities and Lucía Hernández, moderator, and also the president of EAPN, Rosa Cano, who made it possible for this symposium, first European symposium, to be celebrated here on Aporophobia, and all entities of the third sector with which we work usually. And we are linked as a city council, and I'm very glad to see you all. Also the president of EAPN in Europe, Susías, and also our dear Pilar and also Longinos. It's a pleasure for me to welcome the town mayor. He couldn't be here presently, and we are glad. It is an honor for us to celebrate this symposium in Murcia. From the City Council and the department in which I am a director, we know that we have an important role against exclusion, and we are here today to give a name to one of the most cruel ways of exclusion of persons, the vulnerable persons, and all those who have problems. Aporophobia is not only a social problem, it's also a health problem and a problem of human rights. And the research says that poverty kills and stigmatizes. We not only speak of physical problems, but also psychological ones. And we are going to work with different associations. Murcia wants to be a pioneer to visibilize and make problems visible. And we are capable of creating communities which are inclusive without thinking about their origins, and social services, which are the first line of services. We are there in Murcia. We work with more than 70,000 persons, 25,000 families in situation of vulnerability, so that we can welcome persons who need us. together with the entities of the third sector, with alliances. And, of course, we would like to say Murcia is an inclusive city, and we defend human rights. And today and tomorrow, you will listen to authorities, different authorities from different sectors, and we will have debate panels. And talking about aporophobia means listening to each other, and also listening to those working at the administration. I would like to thank all those persons and entities making it possible for us to celebrate this European Symposium, the presenters, and also all the attendants, also online attendants, who are interested in this topic. Murcia is committed today and for always to be a city against aporophobia, where poverty is not a synonym of loneliness. I would like to say overgoing poverty is just a justice action. This is a sentence by Nelson Mandela. Thank you very much for opening your doors to our symposium, and thank you for organizing it. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Pilar.
Thank you very much, Pilar. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to listen to different points of view. And now we are going to welcome, well, we have been talking of the region of Murcia, EAPN, and now we are going to welcome Carlos Susías, President of EAPN in Spain and also Europe. He studied psychology and social political sciences, and he has worked on exclusion subjects.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Lucía, for the introduction. Thank you to everyone who takes part in this introduction panel. I'll say something that maybe sounds strange from the president of the EAPN. I'm happy, right? I know that nowadays it's more common to be angry and but I'm actually happy because since I arrived in Murcia, I have seen how there's a network of entities, of association, that have a great level of resilience and involvement, who work with different collectives that are coordinated, that work together with the institutions, and in the face of challenges and in the face of situations of poverty, which are very serious, still remain with a strong vocation to put an end to these situations. And this is something very important that we need to value. And it makes me happy that there are institutions that are involved in this. This morning, I met the regional councillor, and we talked for 2 hours about the different problems we have, and also we discussed possible solutions. And I would also like to remember that when we speak about these structural situations, the work can become monotonous, but then also we have special situations. We saw that in Spain, and we will see more, such as natural disasters, and we see how important is the public response to these situations. And social entities collaborate in these situations. We participate. We are a complement to those powers. But let us remember, in the end, it will be the institutions that will save the society. if there are no strong institutions, then we will enter into the law of the jungle. So this is something very important. Also, I'm happy because this morning, when I talked to the councillor, and now that we just heard the local councillor, we saw how institutions have some gaps. We will discuss solutions and resources, which of course are small. But first of all, we need to see what are the gaps. Then I would also now like to mention the public civil servants that devote the work not only in situations of natural catastrophes, but daily. And these sometimes becomes difficult because the job can become monotonous, because sometimes you are working for something, you may end up your work life, and then you don't realize you don't have big achievements, but actually you have contributed to a progression in the improvement of life for many people. And then we have a person here who's an activist for people activists for people in situation of extreme poverty and human rights. Oliver, thank you for being here. He not only knows what he's talking about, but he also speaks with the passion of a person that lives and is convinced of the importance of his work. And I'm also very pleased to have you here, Adela, because since I read your book, I follow you in many of the conferences you've participated. I've also attended some of them. And it's the way you describe how this rejection to the poor is articulated is very important. Perhaps because I lived that, when I was very young, when during the press conference, I couldn't help but say it. I shouldn't perhaps, but I said it. I come from a very humble family, and my dad said, it's not bad to be poor, but it's disgusting. And this speaks about how people feel with regards to other people. And this is very important to remember. And to fight against this, we need to do something that is very important. First, to have definitions. And this is what Adela has done. And then we need to have solutions to the problems. And this is what Oliver will bring some solutions. And then this morning, the councillor also spoke about how eradicating poverty is not, a burden on the council, or the ministry, or the regional ministry of social services. This is a burden to be shared and carried by the society. But of course, the first instrument is the government. Therefore, it is particularly important that we have strategies to face poverty and acknowledge that we have not only material difficulties, but the rejection that these people suffer. And Adela will probably talk about these things with a lot more authority than myself. Also, another thing that I find very important is that here we're trying to create a common strategy to fight against poverty. In Europe, we're trying to create a common policy against poverty, and this makes me today happy. And I know that when I leave this microphone, I will remember the difficulties we are facing, the situation we live worldwide, the increasing hate that we are witnessing. But there are many people who are ready to work against those problems, but also to work in positive, to show that people have values. The people in situation of poverty are not just a bunch of problems, but actually people that can offer a lot of opportunities for our society. This morning we talked about how when we face the problem of COVID in Spain or in Europe, we face the COVID crisis very different than the way the financial crisis was faced. And that and that offered a very different outcome. So we need to work with this vocation in mind, and we need concrete measures. Sometimes it happens that you go to visit a political decision maker, and when you speak about poverty, first of all, they would only receive you from the point of view of charity, right? Because that was the situation back in the day. And they would always tell you, these politicians would always tell you, oh, poverty is in my heart. Yeah, it's something that I have in my heart. And then I would think, okay, well, that's great. But if you also think about it and you also include it in the general budget, even better, right? So the importance is not only about definition, but we also need, for this definition that comes from the South, thank you, Adela, we need to take it to the whole of Europe. We need to see that this definition has legal, political, and normative consequences, especially in terms of economic policy. Therefore, we have a lot of work ahead of us, but this is just business as usual. We have many challenges ahead. This is also business as usual. And we have a lot of wish to work. It's true that sometimes we're tired. This morning we talked about a comic strip of Mafalda. Maybe some of you know this. There's a statue. Yeah, there's a man on some kind of a statue, and it says, "To the untiring worker." And Mafalda said, "Of course, that has no merit. The merit is to be tired and still keep working. So please keep working, even if you're tired, because your work is very valuable."
Thank you very much, Carlos, as well for your optimism. We are going to talk about aporophobia, but we are going to talk about it in a constructive way. We are going to close this presentation, first part of the panel, and with Conchita Ruiz. She is the Regional Minister of Social Politics and Families and Equality in the government of the Region of Murcia, and she's also working in the Institute of the Woman, a very important institution in Murcia. I have also been a councillor of the City Council. Thank you, Carlos, for your optimistic words, which are necessary today. And dear Rosa and representatives of EAPN in the Region of Murcia, Adela, Olivier, and the vice-rector of social responsibility, Longinos, councillor of social welfare, family and health, also attendants to this symposium. Good afternoon. It is to me an honor to welcome you to these conferences in a European symposium on aporophobia organized by EAPN from the region of Murcia and Spain. And they situate Murcia as the scene of the first debate about social reality, which is often invisible, but it has strong consequences in our society, such as fear, against persons in social exclusion. And aporophobia, according to Adela, emerges from misinformation, economic uncertainty, etc., is a silent discrimination, and we can see it in hate speeches. It is linked to poverty, not like xenophobia, But this does not discriminate for the race, but for economy. So you don't reject the other person for their race, but because they don't have a social and economy network supporting them. And we could be talking about a topic which is a problem, a challenge, a social challenge. Most of all because of the crimes associated to it. And last year in Spain, these crimes increased 32%, according to the Homeland Security Ministry. And this symposium is an important initiative to deal with measures which we should take to deal with the research on aporophobia, stigmatization, fear to the different persons, and also social distance. This contributes to this phenomenon which degrades us as a society. And the bigger the distance between the rich and the poor, the risk is bigger too, because social fragmentation increases fear and fragmentation. And fighting against poverty is a priority in the region of Murcia. If we reduce inequalities, we will be able to prevent discrimination and construct a society which is more inclusive and free of aporophobia. So let's talk of fighting against poverty so that aporophobia doesn't exist. In the region of Murcia, we have policies helping equality be a reality regarding free services and also in essential services such as childcare services or education. And in the social policies, we try to create programs such as Paris so that we facilitate home to persons in social exclusion. Also programs for the job market, and we help the city council so that they can reach persons in vulnerable situations. And we also support the social entities in the third sector, working in the first line, recognizing their essential role in the construction of a society of justice, including the EAPN association, of course. And we are elaborating a strategy in our region to fight poverty, and it will be finished in a few weeks from different areas to fight against poverty and inequality, to stop and fight aporophobia. And we also have to work on policies supporting and fostering empathy, and in all the stages of life, but most of all in at schools. And we would like to create families with an open attitude towards persons in risk of exclusion, respecting the differences and also solving conflicts in peace. This is an occasion to fight these problems and do it together with the philosopher Adela Cortina, mother of the term aporophobia, is a privilege. So I encourage you to give us your opinion, to participate, and also, most of all, be committed to fight against aporophobia. Thank you very much.